Well, guys, this is it. This was episode 12 of Adventuring at Age 29. Grinding. Some shit like that. I'll put the name in the description. Bro, these animes have long names. But anyways, let's get down to business with my final take. The review of this anime is just, people came because, well, mainly because, for me personally, I came because I heard, Ruri was a kid, but she would like transform into a doll, and Hajime was like already an adult. And so online, I heard it. I don't know. I don't remember. Was it Myanimelist? Was it Twitter? I mean, it's still named Twitter. If you look at the URL, it's still called Twitter. But the main name that Elon has made it is the X. So whatever. So on X, it could have been X. It could have been somewhere. Could have been like a Facebook. One of those panels. So, I came for that. I was like, oh shit, I want to see what's going on. Why is it so controversial? What's going on? So that's why I watched it. But guys, I'm telling you right now, it's much bigger than that. It's way better than that. We have Hajime who saved Ruri from pretty much being homeless. She could have died. Like, let's think about it. This was episode 12, and Ruri, her powers went out of control. Let's say she was still homeless, right? She would have been easily killed by those ancient beasts, or the beast. Yeah, she's an ancient beast. Through her charm powers or whatever, it attracted all the beasts. Her magical energy was losing control. So if it wasn't for the fact that Hajime, found her, it's ironic because it's funny. I mean, not ironic, like, because I really don't remember how this also, like, how he even met Ruri. I just know that he rescued her, took her under her wing, kind of like forced. But in all fairness, I think Hajime grew more than Ruri did. Ruri's still a gaki. She's still young. She's still a kid. She's just, a bundle of energy, a bundle of joy. She's always positive. She's always like doing weird, just look at her, bro. The way she sleeps, this is just funny. I think Hajime grew more in this anime than Ruri did. And that's what I really want to talk about, is Hajime's growth and why this anime means a lot to me. Throughout the episode, we see a little bit of Hajime. Little by little, they show bits and pieces of him. Back in his childhood when he was poor, he didn't have a home, he didn't have a house. Obviously he didn't have parents, mom and dad, and all he really had was two good friends. And what happened to them? I don't know. We don't know what really happened to his friends. They just showed his friends very briefly during a flashback. And so we really don't know what happened to his friends. But I see a lot myself in Hajime, growing up pretty much in the hood. My parents always being absent. So that's why I really, I connected a lot with this anime. And when he met Ruri, it was like, I have niece and nephews right now. I can see their innocence. Meanwhile, we're the ones who went through all the hardships. We're the ones that, we had to go through it all. We had to go through the pain. We had to go through the suffering as kids. As kids, guys. I didn't struggle as an adult. No. Hell no. Once I became an adult, I was able to like just work and make money and roof over my head and had food on the table. I think as adults we have no excuse. We don't have as many excuses as when we were kids. So I would never say as an adult I'm struggling. Like, I could always just work more hours. But anyways, enough of that. But when we're kids, that's when we're more vulnerable. That's when, honestly, the only time we have an excuse. You can see here, Hajime is like, looking for food. killing rats just to feed himself. So yeah, as kids, it's like it's not easy to have fate in control, to control your destiny. For a lot of, I'd say at least 99% of kids cannot control their own destiny. We cannot. All our lives we're taught to obey our parents. We're not. We can't make decisions. We're too immature to be able to. You just leave it at that. But yeah, and so Hajime he has a way tougher past than most of us, especially me. But like I said, he was able to make do with what he got. With his friends, they were able to eat rats at least once a day, or eat once a day. And so, long story short, he built a wall around his heart. He built a wall around his heart because of, he knows, from all the hardship. It just made him more rugged. It made him more enclosed. And so, right, even now, I've pretty much shut off most of my heart, my emotions. I'm just really stoic. I see the greener side of things, and I don't really see myself being particularly hurt by anyone. you know Nothing can really get under my skin, and that's because when you grow up in hardship, you have to get stronger, you have to get wiser, you have to be more, you have to be, just like I said, more rugged. You can't have experience tear you down. You have to have experience make you wiser, stronger, better as a person. And and so Ruri helped him open up. It really did. Even putting his life on the line, losing an arm, he still didn't lash back at Ruri. He still didn't have regrets. And that's how you want to be. That's really how you want to be. You want to be like Hajime, all closed up, but still he's helping his community. He's still protecting everyone from monsters. He's able to, with a level head, take care of Ruri and just live. Like, honestly, bro, it's just one of those animes where you're like, damn, this is, Hajime is actually a pretty decent example of how you'd want to be as an adult. Like, I really say this, like, I'm not trying to laugh or be funny, because anime is just anime. It's just another cartoon, right? There's not much in it for you, is there? No, but every time I watch an anime, I try to take something from it. You can't just consume media and not learn. Like, what the fuck? So Hajime is able to stay cool, calm, collected. He's able to take care of Ruri. He's able to protect the village. He's able to provide food, a roof, somewhere to sleep. He's still fun, and despite being, growing up poor and shit, he's literally fighting for his life. He could have died any day when he was young. He could have starved and whatnot, but he ate a dog to survive. He ate his pet dog to survive, guys. So while as kids we do not have control of any of our actions or future, now that we're adults, we can choose to be good. We can choose to be a force of good, a positive impact to you, yourself, your community, your family, your friends, your job. You have that power now as an adult. You're no longer a child. You're no longer, someone who was born into innocence. No, you're now a full-fledged adult, and that transition has to happen right away. And I know it's not easy. It really isn't. Which is why I say, Hajime is such a good example. Even though he had this rugged past, this checkered past, and I'll let you guys know, I didn't reach this level until I was damn near, like, he was 29, and I'm way over 29. But yeah, sometimes it just takes that level of age, that level of experience to be where Hajime is, to be where, he's taking care of Ruri. So yeah, guys, long story short, I'm rambling now. I'm just fucking rambling now. So long story short, this went from a very controversial anime. I really wanted to see what's going on here. I know you guys were here for the same fucking reasons. All right, you can't lie to me, damn it. Anyways, we went from a very controversial, it's good advertising. I gotta say, it's good advertising. Whoever amped this anime up, it was good advertising. It was a good move. Went from very controversial to just a pure, wholesome, good feel anime. It's just a really good feel anime. Fun, funny, and overall just a good time. I'm so happy I watched this anime. It's one of those animes where you eventually just love it. Even though you came here for the wrong fucking reasons, just like me.